Ladies and gentlemen, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, depending on where you are, or what time of day it is when you are listening to this on rebroadcast. Once again, for you that may not who know I am, may not who, excuse me, tongue twister again tonight. For those individuals who may not know who I am Coach Holman. I'm going to be your host tonight. I want to welcome you guys to the Recruiting Academy podcast. We're actually joined by this evening by the beloved Coach Hughes. Coach Hughes has been working with me for about the last 2 years, and it's always a pleasure to have him on with us. So, Coach Hughes, man, reintroduce yourself and let people know just a few things about you here before we get started this evening.
I'm Coach Hughes, and I've coached for 22 years, and I'm here to help out Coach Holman.
Coach Hughes, where are you where are you currently living right now? Where do you live at? What part of this what
Uh,
part of the country are you living in?
I live in Ohio. I live in the Dayton area, and I'm around schools like Northmont and Greenville. So I'm around bigger schools and a lot of like the CCC schools.
Okay. No, that's fantastic. He's our Midwest. He's pretty much our entire world. He's our scouting uh our scouting director and play personnel. So yeah, he will be somebody that a lot of you athletes and parents will see as things come along and we continue to open up the world. So I am going to touch on a topic we talked about last week. We talked about scholarship system, and I had a lot of people reach out to emails and say, "Hey, what is this scholarship system about? You know, what can we do? Things of that such." So I'm going to recap last week and some of the things we talked about. We talked about the scholarship system in regards to being three things that an athlete needed to do. But before we jump to that, Coach Hughes, I'm going to let him revisit what he talked about last week before I get into those three things, because I think this is kind of like what he's about to explain is like the prerequisite before you can even get to the scholarship system. So, Coach Hughes, go ahead and share that information that you shared last week and you've shared numerous times with the people today.
It's part of a freshman program where we talk to freshmen and give them the idea that your freshman year is your most important academic year, to make sure that you get a 4.0 or high, the best you can up to 4.0. So that way you're not playing catch up. The biggest thing about student athlete is that it's student first. So make sure as you go through the process with Coach Holman and I, there's a step as we go. However, you still have to do your homework, turn your work in, and do your part, which is to be the best student that you can be. You can't come to us your senior year with a 1.6. It doesn't work that way.
No, Coach, you bring up a good point. We get a lot of seniors, right? A lot of seniors, because what happens is it's a mindset thing, right? It's a mindset thing where they say, well, hey, I'm going to wait until, my senior year to start training. I'm going to wait till my senior year to start getting my grades. I'm going to wait till my senior year to take my ACT, SAT score. I'm waiting till my senior year to do all these things. And this kind of program, even parents, I have parents saying, well, this is his last year. We're going to do X, Y, and Z. And it's like, you should have did the last year mindset in the first year, and you would be a further ahead than what you are. So, Coach, you ran a very good point. I just want to re-elaborate that you guys need your freshman year of high school is probably the most important in regards to building the foundation. Because once you get the foundation solid and stable, you can build up from there. But if you have cracks and you're not turning your homework, you're not taking care of your grades, you're not doing the simple things. Like right now, we're dealing with a lot of students being able to do school online, and I'm getting feedback from people in the academia world that a lot of people are not doing their studies. And it's one of those things where they weren't already doing it even before um, class and school being online. Now they're really not doing it. So that's just telling me that one, people are not motivated. And that goes back to what we talked about last week. What is your why, right? I know a lot of athletes that we're gonna, both male and female, want to be able to, take their sport and go to the next level. But one of the things is finding your why, and your why will help you with the process of going through and making sure you're doing your work, holding yourself accountable, right? So if you say, "Hey, I want to be able to go to college and play my sport beyond just high school," it's very, very important for you as an athlete, to know your why, which can help you hold yourself accountable, and also help those around you hold yourself accountable as well. So listen, just wanted to re-elaborate on that, and touch on the why. So let's get back into the system. So last week we talked about three things. We talked about the development, networking, and marketing. And we touched on each one of those last week, with development being, hey, between camps and training, what are you doing to help sharpen your skills as an athlete? And that includes weight room, nutrition, um, stretching, uh, attending camps, and things of that such. Right, that's the developmental piece. Working with a private coach, in whatever sport you may play. But then also, in addition to that, we talked about networking. And networking is basically just opportunity you have to basically, when you go to these camps, go to these events, or just have opportunity to talk to different coaches and things as such, that you have the ability to, talk and communicate effectively, but also, um, ask questions, right? So make sure your network, right? So that's network. So, and then the final piece, was marketing, and that is the before they know you, basically just putting yourself out there, whether that may be, your grades. That's a marketing tool. I'm not gonna give too much because I'm gonna get into marketing. I'm gonna get into marketing here in a second. But some things that could be examples of, things that make you marketable, how you make yourself marketable. It's just the things that people see, right? And I like to paint this picture. I guess I can go ahead and transition into the marketing thing anyway, because that's going to be the topic of discussion tonight in regards to the scholarship system. We're going to break this thing down, by three different key parts. Um, but marketing, and marketing basically is just the before they know you, right? And I use this analogy, and I have videos that I've done previously before, and I'll get those out there as well. But marketing is basically, before you know you. So when you turn on the TV, right, you see a ad or a marketing piece for, let's say, I guess we can just say like McDonald's, right? And I'm not saying McDonald's is, we're not sponsoring McDonald's or anything like that, but they're not one of our sponsors, but it's just a key example. I want to give you something to be able to, wanted to be able to get you. I want you to picture this in your mind. So you see the McDonald's commercial, right? And you see, okay, chicken nuggets, fries, and a Coke, right? But you see that repeatedly. You see it time after time after time after time. Make double, make chicken, all that stuff that we would eat. I used to eat as a high school kid coming up. Sweet tea, all that, right? All that stuff, right? So now I know you're probably hungry, but that's not where I was trying to take you. Where I'm trying to take you is just get you the idea to understand that, you see those things a lot, and they're like there, right? So how you as an athlete are gonna be able to help yourself market is that you have to be present, right? So we talk about this a lot, especially with the pandemic that we're, in, with the closing of schools and limitation of camps, of college camps and things as such. You as an athlete, and this is something that you had to do even before this time that we're in dealing with right now, but even more so now, you have to put yourself out there, right? And a lot of times it starts in the classroom with your grades, right? Making yourself marketable. We talked about last week of finding your fit. So the better your grades are, the more opportunities you have. We're going to touch on at another point in time. We're going to talk about the guaranteed scholarship and what that is. A lot of athletes neglect the guaranteed scholarship, but we'll talk about that, another time in the future. But what I want to get back to is the grades, right? That makes you marketable. That's the prerequisite. You have to have those things. And on top of that, you need to have the appropriate test score to be a qualifier, which you're going to get into NCAA qualifier at some point in time as well. But qualifier, but also need to have a score, the certain test score to get into the school, which helps with additional funding for scholarships and stuff like that. All right. But the next thing that you can have, and this is stuff, this is, I know we're talking recruiting and things and stuff like that. This is not just limited to football, basketball, soccer, this is all sports, wrestling, tennis, golf, lacrosse, you name it, volleyball, both men's and women's, track and field. This stuff is across the board. The stuff that we're talking about tonight and we have discussed so far this evening and today is across the board. This does not matter what sports you play. This is universal. You can use this information no matter what sport you play. A lot of times you can use it even in the just academic world without even athletics. Just making yourself more marketable. So let's get back to the marketing piece. So we just discussed the opportunity to put yourself out there, right? The platform that we have, social media technology can be a blessing and a curse, depending on how you use it. But with the opportunity to have Twitter as a platform where all the coaches conversate, is a unique opportunity for you to be able to take advantage of. And the thing is, as you gather friends, which is part of the networking piece, everything ties together. What you gathering friends from camps, teammates, coaches, college coaches, high school coaches, people, whatever, that has the opportunity for your brand, you to be seen more by people that are not even your friends. So for those of you that maybe don't have a Twitter or do have a Twitter, just pay attention to this key nugget that I'm about to drop. Watch, go on somebody's, go through your feed and then look at somebody that has retweeted something. Let's say, like, for instance, like Coach Hughes follows me on social media, right? And I tweet an athlete, something about an athlete that he does not follow. Guess who sees that? Coach Hughes sees that. And he sees it because he follows me, and whatever I put out there, he sees it as well. So that's a key nugget for a lot of you athletes to understand, is that's why I said when you go to these camps and you're talking, and even when you go to these camps and you go on college visits and you have a conversation with people, follow them and get them to follow you back. So when you put information out there and they retweet it, or even if they like it, people still can see it. Even if they like it, they still can see it. That's a way for you to expand and get more people seeing what you're doing, get more views, right? That's a little nugget that a lot of people are not really talking about, but I've been studying and seeing it, that's a way, and I talked about it in previous videos, that a way for an athlete to expand the horizon and get more people viewing and seeing them, right? So if you have, teammates, have them retweet their information, because not only do their friends see it, not only do your friends see it, but then their friends see it as well. And it's just one of those things that continue to grow, because, hey, it might be a situation where, you have a coach that is, maybe following your teammate, or, or an ex-player that went to your school, and then that player or teammate retweets your stuff, and then a college coach sees that, and it's like, yo, who's this kid, right? It's, you hear, and some of you may be too young, but most of the people that are, parents are middle age, or in their 20s or 30s or even older, understand the fact of how it used to be back in the day before we had social media, we had this platform. You would have to go, coach would be out recruiting one kid, and then, he would discover another kid in the process, right? But, especially right now with these times, that's definitely not happening. That still happens occasionally, but a majority of times now it's on this platform of Twitter, where a lot of these coaches discover individuals whom they were really not recruiting, but they came across as like, whoa, who is this? Who is this athlete, right? So with that in mind, athletes, just going back to how we started this this podcast off this week, same things we did last week. The fact of the matter is that athletes must network. So marketing and network are tied together as well as development, right? But we're focusing on marketing now. So having a network, or adding friends, adding people and having them follow you back and having them retweet your stuff is going to help you gain exposure, like gain exposure. That's the word I was looking for. Gain exposure. So that ties right into a question that I get asked all the time, no matter where I go. Coach, how can I gain exposure? I just told you how. I just told you how. Use the social media platform to add people, get them to add you back. You go to these camps, build a relationship with them, and have them retweet your stuff. And you do the same for them. I told you last week, and I'm gonna tell you again, and I told you in previous videos and on podcasts, we're all connected. We are all connected in the day. So please do yourself a huge favor and make sure you are following people. Hopefully they follow you back. They retweet your stuff, and that can put you in position to get seen by coaches all over not just locally, but all over the world. Because let's say you go to a camp. We're having a 5-day camp in Florida at IMG Academy, July 6th. July 2nd through the 6th. Okay, and there's going to be double digit states representative. And what I mean by that, there is going to be at least 10 plus states that are they're going to be 10 plus states that are represented at the camp. So you might have a kid that may live in the state of Georgia, but is going to be able to connect with a kid in the state of Ohio, a kid in Colorado, a kid in Iowa, a kid in Arkansas, a kid in New Jersey, a kid in South Carolina, a kid in California, a kid in Oregon, a kid in Arizona, and so on and so forth, right? So now, not only does when that kid retweets something, okay, and like I said, let me go back to this. Let me reiterate this. All right, this is not just to just one sport, two sport. This is across the board, every sport. This system that we're talking about works across the board, every sport: volleyball, tennis, soccer, lacrosse, basketball, football, you name it. Okay, so that athlete not only has his teammates in the state of Georgia retweeting it, he has now somebody in the state of Ohio, state of Florida, state of Arkansas, state of Iowa, and so on and so forth, retweeting it, right? And then their friends that are local see that, right? And the opportunity to have coaches in that area see that, it grows the opportunity for you to gain exposure. So listen, if you want to know how to gain exposure, that is probably one of the ways that a lot of people really haven't thought about and came to fruition and say, okay, hey, this is the way for me to gain exposure, right? But I want to be able to expose that so athletes can understand they need to do their due diligence at the end of the day and get out there, get to these camps, network, all right, ask questions, build relationships, and then boom, all right, help them marketing at the end of the day. It would be cliche of me not to take the opportunity um, to let athletes know that we can help you with this. Not just football, not just basketball, not just men's sports. This is open to all sports, men or women's sports. At the end of the day, it's an opportunity for you to take advantage of. So you say, hey, coach, I need help. Coach Hughes is here to help you. I'm here to help you. We have other members on our team here to help you gain the exposure, help you with your marketing, right? Help you go through and look at your film, look at your Twitter, Because the thing is, and this has happened a lot. It saddens me to see that an athlete, goes and does everything, but doesn't make sure the marketing piece is right, doesn't make sure their Twitter's right, doesn't make sure the things in their bio is right, doesn't make sure their huddle film is has been viewed by professionals, scouts, such as Coach Hughes and myself, and the staff, to be able to look and say, okay, hey, you need to move this around, move that around, to be able to help you leverage your opportunities. When coaches come to your page, because the first thing they're going to come to, they're going to read your bio, right? And if you got whatever in your bio, not attention grabbers, you need attention grabbers. And then the next thing, they're going to watch your film, and if you don't have attention grabbers there, listen, you just all this money you spend on camps and things just like that, you don't have the opportunity. You're missing out on opportunities. So, with that being said, there will be a link within this video, link underneath this video, a link in the platform that we'll send it out on as well, for you to click and say, hey, I need help. Listen, understand this: for you to go where you want to go, you're gonna have to pay some way, somehow. That could be paying within time, monetary payment, referral payment. They're gonna have to pay. So I want parents and athletes to get out the mindset of like, okay, I just want to go out to the free. Okay, I'm gonna tell you this: everything that's free isn't good. All right. If I say, hey, I'm gonna offer you a free burger, right? And you say, okay, yeah, all right, I'll take it. You didn't ask. I didn't ask you how do you want to cook. I didn't tell you what I was gonna put on the burger. You just said, okay, it's free, I'm gonna take it, right? Everything that's free is not good. So parents and athletes, get out of the mindset of saying, okay, hey, like, if it ain't free, I'm not doing it, or I don't want to pay. I don't want to have to pay for anything. Things cost. Things cost. Everybody at the end of the day understands that things cost. Nothing comes easy. Nothing comes for free, right? There's sacrifices that people are making to help each other at the end of the day. So be respectful of their time and efforts that they're putting in, and don't always be looking for a handout. Things cost, right? I have the opportunity to train athletes around the country. Now, I don't train every athlete around the country, but I have an opportunity to train athletes around the country. And it costs for me to travel and train that athlete. It costs for my time. I value my time. Coach Hughes values his time. We value our time, right? So get the mindset of get rid of the mindset of, okay, I'm only gonna do stuff if it's free. It's gonna cost. It's gonna cost. It's going to cost. So with that being said, I appreciate you all joining us today. This was another opportunity for us to help you move forward in your journey. Like I said, once again, I'm Coach Holman. We were joined this evening by Coach Hughes. We appreciate you guys taking the time. Coach Hughes, do you have any final words, any final nuggets before we go? Anything you wanted to say?
I do not. I think this was wonderful.
Good. So, like we said, man, we appreciate you guys joining us. We can continue planning on doing this. We'll get ready to have a workshop here in a few weeks where we'll go through and break down some more of this stuff and actually show you more so than just talking to you. We'll actually show you. So stay tuned for that. Listen, God bless, and we'll see you guys next week.